What you are about to see is how not to look after your BMW M2 Competition. Without PPF, with no ceramic coating, over the last 2 days my car has sat underneath a tree, it's got bird poo on it, it's got tree sap on it, it's been 35 degrees and we have had monumental storms. And to top it off, the tree that it sat under then got cut down. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very sorry looking M2 Competition down at MVM. Now I have to say I am not proud of the condition of this car. It has been completely destroyed in the last 48 hours and today I'm heading down to Tesla Chiswick to swap this car for a Model 3 Performance. Pretty much the same price point, but I could not even think about driving this car down and leaving it down at Tesla for 7 days. I think if I turned up with a car in this condition, they wouldn't even give me the key to the Tesla.
Am I indicating? Yeah. What I'm definitely going to have to get used to is this part of the screen here is usually what sits right up in front of me where the dials are, so I need to learn to look here to make sure that I'm indicating properly. I've got almost like a sonar feature that can send out echo signals to the cars that I'm passing and show me exactly where the cars are. Just told me that I've just driven past some cones. There's another cone, it just registered those cones over there. Oh my God. A bin, it just registered the person that just walked past there. It's registering that wheelie bin there. And I've got another Tesla in front of me. I'm about to experience the future. This is otherworldly. So I've indicated now, I don't look up here, I look here, and I can see that I'm indicating. That's some proper good driving there. Let's give it some beans to 40 miles an hour. Oh my God, the rain is so loud. Now, the most disappointing part of the next 7 days is that it is supposed to rain non-stop for the next 7 days. So I don't think we're gonna have a true representation of the performance part of the Model 3. But what I do hope to achieve is recreating the living circumstances of an electric car without an electric charge point at home as well. I think that is important to add, and see how I do. See whether I can cope with slightly less range. To be fair, 290 miles out of a tank in the M2 Competition I would dream of those sorts of miles. But I just can't believe the weather. Literally all day, wonderful. Now, torrential rain for the next 7 days.
Literally since collecting this, it has been non-stop rain. I haven't really had the opportunity to get a camera up and chat to you guys about my first impressions of what it has been like to live with this car and to swap it for the M2 Competition. So, the best word that I can use to describe this car, it's novel. The big screen gives you access to every single feature on the car, which is really hard to get used to. It is not intuitive whatsoever. You've got hundreds of menus, sub-menus, swipe ups, swipe downs. It is literally like using an iPad, but you're in control of a car. Whereas in the M2 Competition, you've got buttons and shortcuts where you can just access controlling the wing mirrors. In this, you've got to go through the screen. It's a little bit frustrating, and I can imagine Tesla owners now are screaming at me going, trust me, the more you get used to it, the better it is, which I can imagine is the case. Other things like not having a key, but having like a credit card to unlock and to put in particular positions in the center console just to start the car are things that obviously we're not used to as petrol heads. But in terms of performance and flexibility of what you get for your money, this being the most expensive Model 3, the Model 3 being the most in-demand Tesla you can buy, at entry level you still get a whole host of features. But with the performance, I am amazed with the track mode presets, the steering capabilities and flexibilities of the pedals, the brake pedal, the throttle pedal. You can have chill mode, you can have sport mode, you can choose the steering weighted. It's just an absolute tech nerd's feast, and that's the best way that I can describe this car. So whilst the M2 is everything that you would expect as a petrol head, and it's very intuitive to just jump in, drive and hoon, this I feel like I'm going to need a little bit more time to get used to. But my first impressions are it's impressive. It's a little bit boring at slow speeds, but when you start pushing on, this actually does handle pretty well for an electric car. Following on from the previous clip, which was 48 hours after collecting this car, I felt like I'd barely scratched the surface, and I was quite excited. I was positive. I thought that this could genuinely replace the likes of a BMW M2 Competition on the road. It has the performance, but it also has the practicality and the electricity, even though it's charging me £10 for about 200 miles at the moment. But I've now changed my tune entirely based on one incident that happened on the M1 yesterday as I was doing a 220-mile round trip up to Donington to see Archie racing. I was quite excited about putting this into the real world and seeing how it fared compared to the likes of a petrol or a diesel. We had the chance of going up in my girlfriend's Jaguar E-Pace, but I said, no, let's go in the Tesla, let's try it. So I did not want to try autopilot. I just don't trust it. I don't care how good Tesla say it is. I didn't want to try autopilot. But what I did do is put it in cruise control. I'm happy with that technology. It sits well with my brain. I'm even happy with Distronic radar cruise control, where it tracks the car in front and slows down and speeds up based on how close you are to the car in front. This does this automatically. So I put it into cruise control. I was doing the steering, the car was doing the speed. We were on the M1, and I do believe that it was quite freak what happened, and I've had time to process exactly what happened, and this is what I think is the cause of it. The weather wasn't great. There was a lot of moisture in the air. It wasn't like the rain was falling. The visibility was poor. There wasn't so much spray because there was no car in front of me, but the rain and the moisture was just sat in the air. And this car did an emergency stop with no cars around. Thankfully, no cars behind, because we definitely would have been rear-ended. Imagine driving on a motorway and the car in front just slamming on the brakes for no reason whatsoever. You are going into the back of it. Your reactions are not Formula One driver speed. So we were cruising at 70 miles an hour. The only thing that I can think of, this car registered the weather as poor visibility and a bridge as a hazard, and thought that we were going to go into it. And seeing as I was not really in tune with worrying about the pedals too much, it took me quite a while to realise what had gone on, bearing in mind the seatbelt had completely strapped me and my girlfriend in, who was terrified, by the way. I was scared, but I had to try and make out that this was quite a normal thing.
So for me to get back up to speed, it took a little bit of time. Once I got back up to speed and I started to realize what had just happened, I immediately lost all faith in the artificial intelligence in this car and everything that Tesla stand for. And it's as simple as that. I know that it was quite freak, but the fact that it happened and the fact that I experienced it, it was that moment of realization that you are not in control. There is a robot or a computer that is in control. And in that moment in time, if I was fully in control, there was no way that I would have slammed on my brakes because I thought that I was going to hit a bridge or because the weather was bad. Honestly, because of the AI and the robotic nature of this car, it's that fear that humans have of losing control. And because I was kind of out of control, especially of the de-acceleration, I'm completely out. Your instincts and you being in control, I guarantee, will be better than the computers. I'm leaving it there. No more Tesla from me. I'm out. See you later, guys. Take care. Goodbye.